palpable. Friday, April 5th. And instead of this day happening in January with a monster slate of good games, we're getting a 13-gamer, the final Friday of the regular season. This is going to be a bloodbath. How do you feel about this?
Can't wait, man. Favorite time of year. Love NBA. So much. I love this. So much information to sift through. It's so much fun.
It's really not easy. It's so much. It's so much to look at. But that is what we are here for. So,
and then it all changes.
What do you mean?
Like, you can go through it all you want now, and it's all going to change.
You mean like the whatever conclusions we come to in this show, it all changes. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like basketball all changes. I was like, well, yeah, it goes to the playoffs.
No.
We are going to take a lap through every one of these games. We'll do our best to outline sort of what could happen in the game. The plays themselves will be a little bit less of a primary discussion point just because we are going to get an overwhelming amount of news throughout this day. NBA strategy, still the promo code 50% off your first month with us. Any monthly package you choose, including packages with Fantasy Cruncher. So if you want to check us out, NBA strategy is the code. We are brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. If you go to bit.ly/Awesemo and enter the promo code AwesemoStrat, one big word, you get a free $5. You don't even have to make a deposit. Thrive is a new DFS site where you pick player props. You're trying to go over or under a particular points, rebounds, assists total, maybe steals, blocks, some combination of all of them. They give you a list of 20. You pick your favorite 10. We'll hit on a couple props as we go through the show. And I should probably hit all of this at the beginning. Coming up later today, we will have the Awesemo Odds betting show. Jordan and Ben going to take a look at the Final Four and some Masters bets. So check that out. Should be around 11:30. Directly after that, I will be back for a Yahoo-specific MLB strategy show. So we're just taking a look at Yahoo. No FanDuel, no DK on this one. Yahoo only. It's going to be something that we'll be doing every single Friday. We'll have a Yahoo-specific article and a Yahoo-specific show. Today is kicking that off. After that, it's the norm. Lofty will have the deep dive. Adam and Lofty will be back for the deeper dive in the early afternoon. And then live before lock. I'm not on today, thank God. Chris and Jake reunited again, taking you from 6 to 7. Same story. We will have Fast Eddie Fear live before lock from 6 to 7, trying to manage this 13-game bonanza.
I thought you meant Jake and Chris were doing live before lock for NBA. I was like, one, when did Jake start doing NBA? And two, how the hell did Eddie get tonight off?
No. I don't think that. I mean, we might as well put Jake on an NBA show on a day like today. We don't know some of these NBA players. No, that they are tackling baseball. Jake's got a tiny hockey slate tonight, so tomorrow he's got to deal with a 13-game hockey slate. Have fun with that, Jake.
Yeah.
All right, we're just diving in. You ready?
Yes.
Exactly. The Charlotte Hornets are taking on the Toronto Raptors. Hornets have a 109 implied total. Raptors 114. We get the depth charts up here. So 5-point favorites for Toronto. Charlotte, I don't believe, has anything to play for whatsoever. Let me just confirm that, but I'm 99% sure I'm right. They're dead, right? They have a 4% chance to make the playoffs per 538. Not totally dead. We've seen weirder stuff happen in sports. Raptors locked into the 2 seed. So we'll start on the Charlotte side. Kemba Walker is 9K on FanDuel, 9K on DraftKings. On my first crunch this morning, I got essentially 0 Kemba Walker. Do you care about Kemba or do you care about any of these Hornets?
Kemba's my favorite play on Charlotte. That's not saying a lot.
I agree with you. You can talk me into Devontae Graham at 3,500, which is that's quite the tale of this slate.
That is not what I expected you to say. Um,
He's cheap. Again, this is right now. This is not. I got 1% of him, just so we're clear.
okay.
That's the most I got of anyone on DraftKings from the Hornets. So I need
Okay.
to at least pump the brakes a little bit on how that might have sounded way more
Yeah,
exciting than it was.
now it makes more sense. You could talk me into Devontae Graham. I'm looking like, okay. You could talk me into Michael Kidd Gilchrist. Um, no, I mean there's not a lot here. Kemba obviously is like nine K is a reasonable price for him. It's just there are 13 games, and I don't think that's any sort of priority.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. For Charlotte, Marvin Williams out, Cody Zeller out. On the Toronto side, OG Anunoby is probable. Pat McCaw out. Do you anticipate we see a full Raptors squad here?
As of now,
Ooh,
yeah,
Raptors said they're not resting anybody if Cam G96 space M is to be trusted in YouTube chat.
I like the way that sounds.
Yeah. It wouldn't shock me if anybody ends up sitting no matter what was said, but I have everybody in right now.
So do I.
I did not get a Raptor on my crunch.
Seems fine.
Yep.
Kawhi grades out as my Kawhi's in like Kemba territory. He's my top guy on the team by a pretty wide margin, but don't imagine I'll get much.
Did I not load the salary thing up correctly? No, there's Kawhi. Why am I not? Why is that as bad as it is? I have literally no Kawhi Leonard.
That's never a bad place to be.
No, I'm not super upset about it. He's got for me, a 58-point target score, and he's Kawhi, so.
Yep.
I also only have him in for 28 minutes. I don't have anybody projected for any sort of real playing time for the Raptors.
Yeah, it seems fine.
Okay. If I were recommending anybody, it would probably be Siakam, and these guys are much better plays on FanDuel than they are on DraftKings. But this is just not that appealing of a fantasy game. Hornets rotation is all spread out, and the Raptors are not exactly going to run one of these dudes into the ground for 38 minutes or something. And that's probably one of the more important pieces of trying to play the NBA now. Not necessarily just figuring out who's got good matchups, but who is the most likely to play a lot and have the ability to play more just in case.
Yeah, no question. Teams that are still playing for stuff, it's really important this time of year because, there's the teams that have stuff that have their spots locked up. Obviously, have no incentive to play their guys huge minutes. The teams that are out of it have incentive to give minutes to guys that we don't even know are on the team, and so you want to just go to the guys that actually have to play their useful DFS guys.
There it is. Moving on from this game, the Orlando Magic hosting the Atlanta Hawks. Magic 117 implied total. Hawks 109. Magic have an 8-point favorites here. Solid defense coming out of the Magic. And let's see. The Magic have a 95% chance of making the playoffs. They are right now slotted into the 7 seed. And if that all holds, they would have a date with the Raptors. Not exactly a date I'm sure they want, but
I don't think it's one the Raptors won either, though.
Really?
Orlando's kind of good. I mean, for an 8 seed, like, or a 7 seed, whatever.
I mean, who else is around them? I'm sure they prefer the Hornets.
Beat Toronto. I'm just saying
I think they'd prefer the Magic over the Pistons or the Nets, the two teams that are bookending them.
I would rather play the Pistons than the Magic.
Really?
Yeah.
The Drummond Blake combo would scare me.
I don't,
if they played like 40 or 42 minutes for each playoff game, like the Magic don't have two guys like that.
No, but they have Vooch and a really good defense.
They do indeed. It'd be close. Monster pace up spot for Orlando. They are clearly fighting for everything right now. I have all their minutes like super normal. Have you changed anything about their rotations?
No, I agree with that. It makes me really, really like Vooch.
Yeah, I got 30% of Vooch on FanDuel, 12 on DK, which doesn't surprise me. The price on FanDuel is a lot better. He's only $100 more expensive there. And I've got some Aaron Gordon too.
Yep. I mean, I'm never that high on Aaron Gordon, but it is the kind of spot where I like him. Weak Atlanta defense, plenty of opportunities for defensive stats, pace up game for him to, get out and run. So, yeah.
Playing big minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a great spot for him. If I were to get to any Fournier, Ross, Augustine, Isaac, I mean, this is not the kind of game where you'd be bummed about it. Anything you really get out of Orlando, I think you can be happy with.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Similarly, on Yahoo, Vooch and Aaron Gordon are the clear prizes here. Ross is my 3, but he's pretty significantly behind Vooch and then pretty significantly behind Gordon as well. Now, the Hawks. Just make sure I get all this right because they're sitting dudes that don't normally sit. Kevin Huerter, doubtful. Taurean Prince, probable. Kent Bazemore, doubtful. So that should be fun. Trae Young, 8,900 on FanDuel, 8,600 on DK. You getting to Trae here?
Not a ton. Obviously, unappealing spot against Orlando. I think he's really similar to Kemba for me.
Yeah.
That 8,500 to 9K price range. I have him projected for like low to mid 40s. I think that on a smaller slate, I would have a lot more interest, but I have a hard time seeing how the slate breaks out where I get a lot of Trae Young.
I completely agree. It's just not a great spot for him. Pace down, tough D. It's not good. I don't get to much here. I'm curious how you think the rotation shakes out. I had to give a boost of minutes to DeAndre Bembry. I can't see a reason how he is not the main benefactor. Every time I think he's going to be, he just continues to play 20 minutes. But I think Kevin Huerter and Kent Bazemore are probably going to be the reason that he has to get it.
Yeah, you would think. But at the same time, his price tag has jumped to 4,900 on DraftKings.
Oh, yeah. I gave him 26 minutes. I still have no interest in him.
Yeah, I have him at 30 and don't really have interest.
Okay. I really didn't know how to shake much of this out. Does anybody stand out for you? Justin Anderson for 3,600 on FanDuel is the only thing that's popping up, and that's obviously not appealing.
Right. No, not really.
Yeah, it's just a really bad spot. I gave Collins 32 minutes. I gave Prince 32 minutes. How did you manage Len's minutes?
I've been like 24.
Okay, so do I. Yeah, there's just not that much here. DeAndre Bembry is priced in a way that makes you think that he had been playing 28 minutes regularly.
Right. Yeah, it was like the first thing I noticed on this team when I looked at it last night was that Bembry was suddenly priced like he wasn't DeAndre Bembry.
Caesar says, Trae wants the rookie of the year. I would like to bang Giselle. I mean, some things just don't happen in your life, like Trae winning the rookie of the year.
What would Trae have to do in the last weekend of the season not to win? I'm not even gonna say to win it because we know that voters are stupid and they do things wrong a lot, but to deserve it.
Nothing.
Like score 100 points every night or something.
I mean, restart the season on his Xbox. Yeah, I mean, or like, I don't know, give Luka the Tanya Harding treatment. I have no idea. They're just not comparable. That doesn't mean that Trae Young isn't fantastic offensively.
Right.
They're not. It's not a zero sum game. And like, if you however much you like Luka, you have to also dislike Trae Young.
Right.
But
I really like Trae Young. I think he's really good, and I'm glad to see him doing as well as he is because that would have been a really difficult trade to like live through as Trae Young if you're only mediocre in the NBA.
Yeah.
But he's not Luka.
Would it be hard?
I think so. I mean, I legitimately felt bad for him like partway through the year because he started out the year kind of struggling, and I legitimately felt bad for him when he came out and was like, I think both teams won this, did well in this trade. Like, I think Atlanta did fine too, and like I legitimately felt bad.
I just feel like was it Channing Frye that had the quote? No, who was it? About being rich?
I don't know.
I just feel that way. Like, I wouldn't care where I got drafted because I would have like 25, 30 mil in the bank.
Well, yeah, sure, but like the guy, assuming so let's say he's like a completely fine NBA player that's nothing special, and he has like a 10-year career, and you're just always the guy that they traded for, or that they got for Luka Doncic.
You're Sam Bowie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to a lesser extent, clearly, but that's Mr. OG DFS. Ben Simmons will always be Rookie of the Year over Luka, but not over Trey. I don't have any idea what that means. So I think that we should move on from the Hawks in Orlando.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you're going to... Are you a Deontay Davis guy? I have no idea.
I thought you meant for Rookie of the Year. I was like, no.
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 Jaren Jackson's the Rookie of the Year in my lineups, probably.
Yeah. Him and Bagley.
Yeah.
Bagley was like your first true love this year.
That's very true. I was on that train way early.
Yeah. Bagley was your guy. I chose Luka.
We were trying to choose Luka early, and then we went on that like brief 6-week stretch of like, well, he doesn't have that big of a standard deviation, which makes me hate myself. And
I changed it before you did. And
you did. Yeah. You did. The Washington Wizards.
I went from thinking that we sounded really smart to then, like, once I changed it and you would say it, I would be like, dude, you sound like an idiot.
It was bad. Whatever. I'll always have a special place in my heart for rostering Jaren Jackson 30% of my lineups when he's at 2% ownership for like a good 10-day stretch.
And only doing it intentionally on half of those days.
Yep. Very true. Wizards and Spurs. Wizards 6-point underdogs in this game, but 6-point favorites in our hearts now that they are unencumbered of your man Ernie. But really, this is a tough one for me. It's a pace down spot for Washington. Spurs defense is good, although if you're into splits, apparently it's also not good on the road. Take that for what it's worth. Thomas Bryant is 8,100 on FanDuel, 7,500 on DK. Is that a direction you're going to go?
He right now grades out as my top guy on Washington. He doesn't grade out as like a phenomenal play in the context of the slate, or at least where I think the slate will be, at 8 hours from now. The price tag's just gotten high enough where I don't think he's overpriced, but he obviously has to be really good to pay it off, and that makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, he is $21 on Yahoo, so if you're really trying to get a Thomas Bryant fix, that's the site for you. Did Luka know Nip? Now, I doubt that Luka Doncic knew Nipsey Hussle all that well at this point. It seems like a bit of a reach. I don't know. Just guessing. I have no interest in Bradley Beal, 8,900 on FanDuel, 9,100 on DraftKings. He's just not going to play enough minutes. I mean, he can be good, but it would shock me if he won you a tournament. What are you thinking on Beal?
No, I agree with you.
Yeah. Only guy that's popping up for me, the same guy that always pops up, Troy Brown, FanDuel, 4,200. Position.
What's the greatest price on FanDuel?
4,500.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah. So it's a really unappealing spot for Washington on a monster slate. They'd be a really good team. I mean, every team, this information would be important. But if you knew Washington's actual minutes before this game started, I think there could be really interesting plays here. Because if Portis broke free with a bunch of extra minutes, or Jabari broke free with a bunch of extra minutes, they could be very interesting.
Jabari definitely will not be breaking free with a bunch of extra minutes.
That's true. Wait, is he out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have him in. I was wondering why that was a blank line earlier. How did I miss that? God, I'm such a moron. Don't say anything.
I was just thinking how bad life must be when you wake up early in the morning and you still miss stuff while I'm sleeping.
It's the last team. I go in order, and by the time that I got to the Wizards today, I'm not gonna lie, I gave less shits. Will Jeff Green play? Or do you think they just go to Wesley Johnson?
I have him at 20 minutes, but I don't know. I have minutes for Sam Decker too.
Oh, Sam Decker's minutes. I didn't think were going anywhere if he was going to be and that was with Jabari in.
Yeah, but it was with Green out.
Yeah, all right. I gave Green and Wesley Johnson minutes. It doesn't matter. Don't play that.
Devin Robinson's out too, for whatever that's worth.
Who?
Evan Robinson.
Is he on the Wizards? He's not on the Basketball Monster depth chart, so I don't know. Josh is sipping on the scissorb. That is not how you spell that. Also, don't try to do that when you think it's just regular cough syrup and you're a child, because it doesn't go well.
What? Wait. What?
Me and a buddy, when we were in high school, had heard that you could like drink cough syrup and get like messed up on it.
Right.
We didn't have any concept that there were like, very specific ingredients that were necessary. So we just bought the first cough syrup we saw on the aisle. Just made us sick.
I'm pretty sure, at least when I was in high school, like they had changed it so you had to like have an ID to buy cough syrup.
Well, no, to buy the good stuff, the stuff with like the the ingredients that would make you feel better. Now this was just essentially like a really high dose of things that just made me want to take a nap.
Oh, okay, got you.
But yeah, stop farting. But that's neither here nor there.
When you said child, I didn't think you like. If you said high school, I wouldn't have even questioned it. But you said child, I thought you were like 8, just like
I was like 17, half of my life ago. Tussing to the dome, yeah, kind of. I didn't know any better. I thought we were just gonna get blasted, and we were told that you had to drink a soda with it. So we were just like alternating, knocking back cough syrup and like a can of Coke. It was bad, man. It was bad. That's high school for you. You can get talked into anything if you're 17 years old. You should not be allowed to get student loans 6 months after that.
No, that's like the craziest thing when you really think about it.
With basically like no, it's just like here's $20,000. You're the guy that 6 months ago drank regular cough syrup in an effort to get messed up.
I wish they had only loaned me $20,000.
Well, I just meant for like from the jump, semester one.
Yeah.
That is super America right there.
Yeah, I was getting people were giving me massive loans at the same time that I was choosing colleges by saying how close is it to a beach, and that's the only thing that I care about.
Somebody just dropped the triple C's in here. Did I know you in high school? Or was that a thing everywhere? I went down that path as well. Just bad news. Made real bad decisions.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Coricidin cough and cold pills. Spent a lot of time in that aisle, apparently. Yeah, I wasn't drunk. Yeah, I didn't drink hand sanitizer. I wouldn't have done that. I probably would have done that.
Were you a Tide Pod guy?
I mean, no, because that happened and I was 32. How bad is this slate that these two are talking about cough syrup instead of talking about basketball? It'll be more interesting than most of this. I mean, drinking cough syrup feels like rostering Spurs. Speaking of, 8,300 on FanDuel, 7,700 on DraftKings. I really like DeMar DeRozan today.
Yeah, I like Aldridge a little bit more, but I like both.
I have DeRozan ahead of Aldridge. I like them both though. They would be a lot of exposure for me at this point. I assume that changes as the day goes on.
Yeah, but no, I'm right there with you.
Oh God. Any Rudy Gay? Any Derek White?
Homecoming game for Rudy Gay if you like stuff like that. But no, not a lot.
I didn't know he was from the area.
Yep, he's from the area. I was going to tell you where he was from, and I realized it would mean nothing to you or like 98% of the people watching.
Yeah, unless you named like a very specific city, like he's from Baltimore or something. It would have been like, okay, I get it. I know where Baltimore is. But I know like 5 places, and they're just essentially on road signs if you're driving on 95.
Right, yeah. Spalding High School.
Okay, yep, nope. Not a damn thing. Yeah, that's probably it. To the Houston Rockets we go. 118.5 implied total for the Rockets, 102 for the New York Knicks. Yikes. Houston, by all accounts, is fully healthy. The New York Knicks, on the other hand, going a bit different of a direction. Dennis Smith Jr. questionable, Trier questionable, Kadeem Allen out, Noah Vonleh still out. There's something called Billy Garrett that is now available for the Knicks, so that's a new wrinkle. I know that he is a guard. That's helpful if you don't want Emmanuel Mudiay, Damian Dotson to play 40 minutes on the third to last day of the season or whatever it is. We'll start on the Houston side. Do you anticipate anything weird here? Anything that I'm not thinking of?
No, I anticipate them looking to win the game and then getting their guys out.
Yep, that sounds pretty safe to me. Do you have any interest in anything from Houston? Because I do not.
It depends how crazy the slate gets with value.
Yeah.
If a ton of really good stuff opens up, then Harden becomes more appealing just because it's Harden and you start caring more about raw points than price tags on guys at the top. But if the value stays, like mediocre, then I'm with you and I don't really have interest.
It's so hard to pay $12K for Harden or 11.7 for DraftKings when you do not know that he's going to play 36 minutes. Like if he plays 30 and they're just trying to nerf everybody, you are not paying off that price tag.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so like I would end up getting to Harden if it gets to where like price tag literally does not matter.
Exactly. When I have infinite monies to be able to spend on those last two spots of whatever studs you want, that's how you get there. Otherwise, like I can't pay that much for Harden, Capella, Paul because I don't anticipate them being on the floor long enough to really provide a ceiling.
Right.
Does that open up anybody for you though from Houston? So obviously the Knicks defense is a bit of a shit show.
Freed's 3,900.
Yeah, I gave him 18 minutes and like he could easily just soak up like 26 today and they could put Capella on ice.
Yeah, I mean it's not anything I feel confident in, but he is the kind of guy where you at least know if he's out there, he's going to produce.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's just really hard for me to recommend anything as of right now. Now, the Knicks. How are you handling DSJ and Trier right now? Because that's kind of important. Yeah, I have them both out as well. Mitchell Robinson is 8,700 on FanDuel, 7K on DK, $26 on Yahoo. No problem at all playing him. He's playing monster minutes.
Yeah, he's my highest graded Nick.
This is also a really scary spot for him. With the way that James Harden draws fouls and gets into the paint, he can pick up a couple in a hurry. The question is, will it even matter?
Yeah, or you can swat like 10 shots in the first quarter.
It's true. I would assume that Harden draws the fouls. Just more often than not. But yes, he could. So he strikes me as incredibly risky on a 13-gamer just because of the way that James Harden specifically plays basketball.
Yeah, but also a monster upside.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he grades out as my best Nick. So.
Yep, same here.
Mudiay is 7K on both sites. I mean, if Dennis Smith Jr. is out, he has to play like 36 plus minutes. There is no Kadeem Allen to soak that up. I mean, they could surely play whatever Billy Garrett is for however many minutes they would like to play him. But Mudiay is just, he doesn't have a choice. He pretty much has to play a ton.
Yep.
That's not 7K Mudiay on a 13-game slate should not be something you really want. And yet here we are.
Right.
And then Damian Dotson, I have in for 36 minutes, 4,700 on FanDuel, 5,600 on DraftKings. A little bit different. Obviously, feel free to jam him in at 4,700 on FanDuel. No matter who gets ruled in, he's still pretty good at that price tag. How do you feel about him at 5,600?
I'm not really interested at 5,600, but I agree that the FanDuel price is pretty nice.
Yeah, I got 20% of him on FanDuel, 3% on DraftKings. Even if Trier ends up being in and DSJ, like Dotson's playing 30 minutes. So 4,700 is nothing crazy. 5,600 is just too much. Are there any down the line Knicks guys that you want to play? Unicorn Net, Henry Ellenson, John Jenkins. Oh my God, these guys are terrible.
Nope.
If they end up with Zion, I'm going to be real bummed. Although a Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Zion team could be pretty fun.
Yeah, good. That'll be a pretty nice fit too, or a nice mix of guys. I mean,
Yeah, they'd fit together really well, I think.
yeah,
Frankie Smokes in there playing the two guarding point guards for Kyrie.
the Andre Roberson role.
Yeah. Not confident that happens, but I think you and I ride pretty hard for Frankie more than the public.
Yep.
Any Kevin Knox?
I hope not.
Perfect way to say that. Let's hit a Thrive prop since I assume they have Harden. You guys know the drill, bit.ly/Osimo. Uh-oh. What do we got? James Harden. Even action on both sides of the prop. 41.5 points plus assists.
I'm at like, if he played 36 minutes, I'd have him at like 44. If he plays like 32 minutes, I have him at like 39. What was the scoring on it?
41.5.
No, I mean,
Even.
okay, I would take the under.
Yeah, I have the under as well. I have him at 38 right now. Didn't think I would ever say under 38. I mean, there were a lot of times during this season where 38 was low on just his points.
Right.
I mean, there was that stretch when Paul was out where we were getting him over 40 pretty regularly. So yeah, I would take the under on Harden. Do I have another one from this game? We do not. Let's keep it moving. The Indiana Pacers hosting the Boston Celtics. 107.75 line for the Pacers. 106.75 for Boston. Boston is without Marcus Morris. Al Horford is probable. Jaylen Brown is doubtful. On the Indiana side, Darren Collison doubtful. Wes Matthews questionable. And Alize Johnson is probable still. Just in case.
Big news there.
Yes, very much so. So we'll start on Indiana's side. Key piece for this game that I think that we need to talk about a little bit. Celtics and Pacers have identical 47 and 32 records. They are essentially locked into the 4-5 matchup in the playoffs. Winner of this game is going to be likely the 4 seed and have home court advantage in this series. I assume that's relatively important to them, but also not too important. But they'll want to get that win. Do you find yourself getting to... Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I was talking over you a little bit.
No, I was agreeing with you that it makes the game matter to some extent.
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect 42 minutes from Kyrie or something, but
no,
it at least is relevant.
I completely agree. Do you find yourself getting to any Pacers?
Miles Turner grades out reasonably well for me at 7K on DraftKings.
Yeah. I have him, Boyan, Tyreek.
Hey, you got it.
I've had it ever since Laffy made a dick out of me for it. No one ever addressed it with me. Nobody was just like, hey man, I think you're saying that word wrong. You just let me hang out there looking like a dum-dum. So I made the change. I did what I needed to do. Miles, Boyan, Tyreek, they all grade out like very similar. The Pacers are kind of the same as they always are. No one just breaks free from the pack. It's just the sea of like 6 dudes that I end up with from time to time.
Yeah. I'm with you. I have Turner as the best of the group, but same boat. Like a lot of just kind of marginal plays for me.
Do you have Wes Matthews in?
Yes.
Okay, so do I. Tyreek is 4,300 on FanDuel, 47 on DK. I really like that $4,300 price tag. I don't get him at nearly as much as I would have expected, but that's not too shabby.
Yeah, it's fine.
Boston, I am getting something here. 9K on FanDuel, 8,900 on DraftKings, 44 on Yahoo. I've got quite a bit of Kyrie here.
Yeah, it's a nice price point for him. How many minutes do you have him at?
36.
Okay, I'm at 34 right now, but I could be talking to more.
Yeah, he seems like the one guy that doesn't seem to have any sort of tie to minutes.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like he's never... I mean, 32 and 33 in his last two, 35 after missing the game on March 30th. If it's close, I expect him to play 36.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
And yeah, I get him quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have him projected for 36 than 34.
Yeah, if I gave him 34, he would just be like another guy in a sea of guys.
Right.
It's not the best spot in the world.
He's still another guy in a sea of guys for me at 36, but
Pacers defense has been bad as of late. So
yeah.
Kind of interested. After that, I got a little bit of Gordon Hayward on FanDuel, and I don't really have anybody else. Are you looking to Horford or Tatum or anything?
Yeah, I got some Horford on DraftKings.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. He grades out fine. It's just there's so many dudes today.
Yeah, more appealing on DraftKings where he's a power forward, obviously.
For sure. Jason Tatum is at 0.86 FanDuel points per minute over his last 30 days. Speaking of guys in their last 30 days, Giannis is at 1.8 FanDuel points per minute over his last 30. That's craziness. It's not like he's in the Anthony Davis role of playing like he's a long reliever and playing half the minutes. 1.8.
Yeah, he's incredible.
He's behind 4 other guys that have played. They've all played 32 minutes or less.
And
Kyle O'Quinn.
The Bucks don't win a playoff series because he can't shoot threes.
Craziness. Kyle O'Quinn, Jonathan Motley, Greg Monroe, and Alan Williams are the 4 guys ahead of him over the last 30 days.
That is really good company.
Yeah. Interesting group. Oh, Thomas Welsh got some minutes this month. Good for him. I don't have anything else in this game, but let's check and see if we have a Thrive prop on Kyrie. Nope, we have one on Tatum, though. Jason Tatum, 7.5 rebounds plus assists.
3.5 rebounds plus assists.
7.5 rebounds plus assists.
Oh, you said 3.5. I was just like,
I wouldn't have asked you that one. We would have just took the over and moved on. I am taking the over. You get 105 points for the over.
Yeah, I have him at 8.5.
Yeah, I have him at 8.4. Both props that we've talked about so far would definitely be in my top 10. Since we're 6 games in? Nope, 5 games in. Hit that like button. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it. Minnesota Timberwolves hosting the Miami Heat. 107.75 implied total for the Wolves. 109.75 for the Heat. If we take a look at injury news, everyone except for Taj should be available. That's been available. It's not like we're getting anybody else back, but Taj is doubtful. On the Miami side, Dion Waiters probable. Josh Richardson out for a while now, which is kind of a bummer for Miami. Derek Jones questionable. Ryan Anderson is injured. I don't know how the hell he managed to do that. God, man, you must have slipped getting out of the hotel bed or something.
The Gilbert Arenas, or not Gilbert Arenas, John Wall.
Yeah. The Heat have a 24% chance to make the playoffs. They are on the outside. They're projected to be on the outside looking in by a game. They are a half game back of the Nets right now. So this game is monstrously important for Miami. They cannot afford to lose.
I love how we finally get to a team that like really, really has something to play for, and it's a team that legitimately should play like 8 or 9 guys huge minutes.
Yeah, I can't even like. It's the team I hate the most in DFS, I think.
Yeah, Dragic is my top guy, but
yeah, agreed.
Still not anything special.
I gave him 34 minutes. It wouldn't shock me if he played more. I didn't want to get too crazy.
Yeah, I've met 35, but he still doesn't come in as like great.
Yeah. So yeah, I would get some Dragic. I've got like 20% of him. I've got 20% Kelly Olynyk, who is still just 4,600 on FanDuel. Can't really turn my back on that one. No problem with Waiters. He is 5,300 on FanDuel, 6,300 on DK. A lot of these guys have better FanDuel prices. So Dragic, Olynyk, Waiters on FanDuel is where I'm looking, but Dragic on DK is also fantastic. How do you feel about the rest of these guys?
Not really that interested. Like Waiters should play really big minutes, but his price tag is up over 6K. Bam's up over 6K. It's just a lot of guys that most likely, like their good games are like, mid to upper 30s.
Yep.
And they're priced to where that isn't really great, especially on a 13-game slate.
Yeah, I totally agree. How do you feel about Cat? since slate doesn't really matter for him. 10-7 on FanDuel, 10-3 on DK. Are you getting to any Cat?
Yeah, I think I would have him a little bit behind Vooch just because the game matters for Orlando, but really, really comparable.
Okay. Yeah, I have him pretty significantly behind Vooch, but he still grades out well, and he's another guy where, as more and more news comes out, more and more towns will end up in my lineups by default. We just got some injury news. Well, maybe not injury news, but roster news. We're going to have another center on the Grizzlies.
So Noah's probably not playing?
I would guess not. So let me know once we get to that game. It'll be in 2. Let me know how you feel about Tyler Zeller. I assume that you're not interested in any other Timberwolves.
No.
Man, at the beginning of the season, we would get a lot of flack for recommending everybody. I wonder if we're going to get a lot of flack for recommending nobody today. Minnesota and Miami. Do we have any Thrive props that look tasty? Karl Anthony Towns, 35.5 points plus rebounds. Even action.
Yeah, I was in the middle of updating my projection on him to make sure it was where I wanted it.
Well, we'll find out what it really is then after this. Not 355, otherwise that's a complete under.
Okay, so what were the numbers?
35.5 points plus rebounds. Even action.
This has to be the number one play on the slate, right?
Yeah, I've got him at 41.8. And it is very clearly my number one prop so far.
Yeah, I have him at 42.1.
Yeah, there you go. Load up on Cat. Speaking of Cat, do you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine by any chance?
No. I mean, I know the show.
Okay.
But no.
There was a line in the show. My wife and I are just watching it now for the first time, but we're in season 4. And there was a quote.
It's the one with Terry Crews and Dick in the Box, right?
Yep. That's Dick in the Box. Good God, man. Andy Samberg is the name you're looking for. There was a quote in one of the most recent episodes. I want to lick your body clean like a kitty cat. And I'm trying to convince my wife to let me get it tattooed on my shoulder. I do not have a tattoo as of this point.
I was about to go, and I was really confused why we were talking about it.
Yeah, I wasn't pitching you on that act or anything. But yeah, I do not have a tattoo anywhere on my body. I want to get it on my shoulder blade. But she told me that I can't get it anywhere that anybody would see it if I took my shirt off. And I said that the whole point of that is taking your shirt off and having someone read it and getting that experience of strangers seeing that message on your back. So I'm working on it. It's the dumbest thing I'll ever do for sure.
Yeah.
And that includes drinking cough syrup as a 17-year-old. Head to Oklahoma City. Cat made me think of it. 113 implied total for the Thunder. 102.5 for the Pistons. 10.5 point line for Oklahoma City. I bet you don't have those sorts of conversations with EMAC on a Saturday morning.
You're right.
I don't think EMAC's talking to you about getting I want to lick your body clean like a kitty cat tattoos.
Don't give him any ideas.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. All right. Oklahoma City appears to be fully healthy except for Roberson, who I guess never going to play basketball again.
Right.
For the Pistons, we continue to have Blake Griffin questionable, Luke Kennard probable. Svi is injured, if that matters to you. It shouldn't. So we'll start with Russ and PG. Pace down spot. Pistons defense is solid. 12K on FanDuel for Russ, 11-3 on DraftKings. Paul George is 10-10, both sites. I don't see myself getting to Russ and Paul George until more value starts to open up. I have a very small amount on FanDuel. Is this a spot for you?
I think that's where I'm at too. It's frustrating because this is a game that matters at least, but it's a really unappealing spot for Oklahoma City. And Russ's price tag has come up, so he'll be one of the first. I think he'll be one of the first guys in, as far as raw points go, once more value opens. But I would still right now. I have him behind Vooch. I have him behind Cat in that price range. or not even in that price range, just amongst the expensive guys.
Gotcha. Yeah, Pistons are trying to hold on to the projected 6 seed, which would also give them a first round date with the Sixers, which would be a really, really interesting series given the relationship between Andre Drummond and Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
That could be fun. And then for Oklahoma City, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are projecting for the 7th seed, but also a tie with the Spurs. So every win matters to keep them away from the 8th seed and a date with the Warriors in the first round. Not that I wouldn't want to see that.
Right.
Because that would be super fun. But they certainly don't want that.
Yeah, Denver does.
Want a date with Oklahoma City?
No, wants Oklahoma City in the 8th seed.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm sure Denver would love to play the Spurs. That would be an excellent series for them. Did you see Pop get the gate in like the first minute of the game?
No, but I saw after that he crashed Malone's presser.
Yeah, he's like, oh, what happened? What happened in the game? Wasn't able to catch it. You can just see, like, as soon as he came into frame and Malone saw him, like, even Malone was dying laughing. It's just, I'd love to be a part of that experience because it's probably so funny. I bet Pop's like a really fun guy, like a fun hang if you know him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I can't imagine how like sarcastic he is in every response. It'd be great. Let's talk Detroit. Do you think that Blake plays? Or do you have him in at least? I guess that's the question. I mean,
yeah. I have him in, yeah.
Okay, so do I.
Nope, never mind. I have him out. I thought I'd put him.
Fantastic. How do you feel about Drummond then, I guess?
Really like him.
Okay. Yeah, pace up spot for the Pistons. Oklahoma City's defense has just not been the same recently. I have no problem getting to Drummond. 10-9 on FanDuel, 9,900 on DraftKings. Grades out pretty nice. Grades out even better for me on FanDuel. And again, as the day moves on, this will just get more. And I have Blake in. If Blake were to be out, I would even get a bump to Drummond. But that's where we need to be. Keep a close eye on Drummond. And if Blake is in, do you have any interest?
Yeah, I'd still have him behind Vooch and Towns, though. Oh, you mean in Blake?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant would I still have interest in Drummond?
No. Would you have interest in Blake?
I mean, at 8,100, sure, in a game that matters. But I still just the health issues concern me. The fact that he was playing pretty poorly and it seems fatigued isn't great. I think I'd rather get to LaMarcus Aldridge for $100 more on DraftKings.
Yeah, I would agree there. How many minutes do you have Drummond projected for?
38.
Okay. Yeah, I had him in for 36, and I was getting told I should take a look at them in chat. I was hoping you would just say 36, and I could just ignore the question and move on. Use you as my my mouthpiece for it. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Still like Drummond. Doesn't really change anything for me. Fantastic.
What'd you say?
I said I still like Drummond. Like I liked him at 36. Wasn't taking me off of him. Andre Drummond, Thrive prop. 3.5 blocks plus steals.
Pretty clear under for me.
Really?
I've been. Oh, God, I'm bad at math.
Well aware.
I'm at 3.2.
Okay. 110 points for the over, so you're probably looking more at like a push that you wouldn't use.
Yeah. Yeah. When I did the math originally, I had 2.2.
Okay. Yeah, I'm at 3.8. Great math, man. These aren't even big numbers.
No.
I did the math and got to 2.2, and that was enough to trip you up. I got the over, but it is the least of the 4 that we've done so far, so I'm not entirely sure where that would check out. Any Reggie year Ish? Ish is interesting if he's not owned.
Yeah, I guess.
You just keep every once in a while he's just grabbing like 28 minutes, and I want to be there for that.
Yeah.
Like 3 out of his last 6, he's played 27 or 28 minutes. If you're right on those days, like it's probably a decent day to have him at the flat minimum on FanDuel or 3,900 on DraftKings.
Yeah, but he's only a point guard on DraftKings, and it's still a 13-game slate in April.
Yeah, that is the key piece. In a vacuum, I know people love every time I say that, or you say that, or whoever says it. Almost done my coffee. It makes me sad. Alrighty, here we go. Dallas Mavericks hosting the Memphis Grizzlies. Luka Mania. 112 implied total for the Mavs. 108 for the Grizzlies. Dallas's injury news. Jalen Brunson questionable. Luka questionable. Dorian Finney-Smith probable. Dwight Powell questionable. That's fun to do. For Memphis, Mike Conley doubtful. Avery Bradley still out. Jonas done. Noah questionable. And now we have the added benefit of trying to work Tyler Zeller into whatever you want to work him into. Ivan Robb. Well, okay, we'll start on Dallas. Are you playing Luka? 9,400 FanDuel, 9,200. Questionable tag on him as of right now.
If he plays, yeah, I love him.
Yeah, same. I got 33% on FanDuel, 18 on DraftKings. I assume I have more than you just because I like him more.
Yeah, of course.
Otherwise, I don't really care about the rest of this team. They will only matter if Powell or Brunson don't play.
Yeah.
If Brunson doesn't play, I guess it's Trey Burke season on FanDuel.
Yeah, if Brunson or Doncic don't play, Burke should get more minutes.
Yeah. Is there anybody else you could possibly go to here?
If Powell doesn't play, Justin Jackson should play a bunch of minutes. It's still Justin Jackson.
Yeah.
If Powell doesn't play, I imagine Kleba plays more.
Yeah, it's almost essentially Luka here.
Yep.
All right, for Memphis, I had Ivan Robb in for 36 minutes, 6,500 on FanDuel, 5,300 on DK. He's probably the best value play on the board, depending on how you feel Tyler Zeller affects this.
Yeah, I mean, even if I have him at 30 minutes, I have him as a really good play.
Agreed. I feel a similar sort of way about Tyler Dorsey, who is 3,900 on FanDuel. That one is as close to a no-brainer as it could possibly get. Similarly, even 4,700 on DraftKings is not a problem, but
yeah, I think it's fine. But I have DeLon Wright ahead of him on DraftKings by a lot.
I still have Dorsey, oddly enough.
How many minutes do you have Dorsey at?
30.
Okay, I'm at 28.
And I have Wright at 34.
Yeah, I have 28 and 35.
Okay. It would be a lot closer at those rates. Is there anybody else you would want from Memphis?
God, Bruno's up to 6,100. That happened quick.
Yeah, he's only played like 20 minutes in the last two games.
Yeah. No, it's Rab, Wright, Dorsey. God, even Parsons is up to 4,600.
Yeah. Keep an eye on the Tyler Zeller news because it will affect Rab's minutes, but it shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
This is a dreadful, dreadful game that neither team wants to win.
Memphis, what's their status on trying to convey or not?
The pick is top 8 protected. They are currently tied for 6th with Dallas. Dallas's pick goes to Atlanta. What is the protection on that? I wanted to say that was top 6. Pick odds. I think Dallas gets it if it's in the top 4 at the very least. Atlanta gets it otherwise.
Okay. Outside, I know Dallas doesn't want to win. I just didn't know where Memphis was at.
I mean, Memphis, I think, wants that pick to well, theirs is tricky. It would be nice to get, a young piece right now, but if it doesn't convey this year, the protection drops next year to top 6, I believe, and then after that, it's unprotected. That could get a little dicey. This game could get really bad. I mean, we could end up seeing like 35 minutes of Courtney Lee type stuff.
Right.
And if Luka doesn't play, this is a really, really putrid game. It
But
might be
it's
the
all,
worst on the slate.
but it's also the kind of game where you can real quickly have just minimum price terrible plays playing 30 or terrible players playing 30 minutes.
Yeah, we've been doing this with the Grizzlies for what feels like 3 straight years.
Yeah, it is always the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
But I'm at Dallas this time.
I agree. Alrighty, heading to the 9 o'clock games, and that's just one game. The Utah Jazz hosting the Sacramento Kings. Jazz 117 implied total, Kings 107. For Utah, Ricky Rubio questionable, Derek Favors out, Jay Crowder probable, Kyle Korver out, Raul Neto questionable, Naz Long in the G League. That's just a distinction that's on there. For Sacramento, everybody's in, or at least should be in as of right now, except for Harry Giles. Pace up spot for Utah. Rudy Gobert is 10-5 on FanDuel, 8,900 on DraftKings, 38 on Yahoo. I don't mind him, but there's just too many center options to go around today.
Yeah, I've been grading out really well in the same when you factor in price in the same category as Drummond, Vooch, Towns.
Yeah. If I look at Gobert, he's just like a hair behind Drummond. He's like a hair ahead of Towns. I wouldn't mind if I got to him. It's really, really unappealing. If I look at the projected standings, Jazz are projected for the 5 seed, and they're pretty much set in stone there. They should be most likely seeing the Blazers in a 4-5, which I'm sure they are absolutely stoked about. How do you feel about the rest of this team? Mitchell, Ingles, do you think that Rubio plays? Is Royce O'Neal now the guy on FanDuel at flat minimum if Rubio doesn't play?
Yeah, and 3,700 on DraftKings too.
Yeah, I got 71% O'Neal on the first crunch. I don't have Rubio in. I gave O'Neal 36 minutes, and he's the flat minimum on FanDuel at small forward, I believe.
Yeah, Mitchell becomes really good too.
Yep. Mitchell looks really good for 8,400 on DraftKings. 9,700 on FanDuel isn't as appealing, but I like Mitchell more than Gobert on DraftKings.
I have Gobert a little ahead of Mitchell.
Okay. Any chance that you would go to Neto if you were in?
Depends what else opens up. I don't think he's bad at 3,600.
Alrighty. Any jingles?
Probably not.
Okay.
I have him behind Mitchell. I have him behind everyone we talked about.
Any Crowder?
I only have him at 28 minutes.
I only have him at 26 minutes, and I still don't get him.
Yeah.
I would have assumed that I got him just like by default. Just thinking like, oh, he's playing and there's no favors and what, but apparently not.
Yeah.
Sacramento, they fully bageled for me on FanDuel and DraftKings. I don't have a soul. I don't have a member of the Kings. I might have a soul. I did sell it in elementary school.
Oh yeah, what'd you get for it?
I got someone to do my math homework that day.
Nice. And then you chose this as a job.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hadn't done it. You know, you get a problem set or whatever, and it's just like, well, fuck, I either didn't do this or I need to cheat.
Right.
And every time you just pick cheat and you copy off of somebody, or you try to hand in an old one and hope they don't notice.
Yeah, I'm not getting here either. De'Aaron Fox is my top guy, but it's not what the word top actually means.
Right. Yeah, this Utah Jazz D, not appealing. Kings projected total, not great. All of these guys are like at their normal price tags, and that is just a recipe for disaster on a day where basically no one else is. So I do not need any part of the Kings. Do we have any props? There's probably a Donovan Mitchell or Gobert prop. Yeah, or there's not. There's also that. So, skip that one. And we will hit the like button if you can, everybody. Working our way through this. We've got 4 games to go. Phoenix Suns hosting the New Orleans Pelicans, and this one is a dumpster fire. 116.25 implied total for the Suns. Terrible defense. 117.25 for the Pelicans. Terrible defense. We start on the Suns side. We have no Tyler Johnson. No Devin Booker now. No DeAndre Ayton. Rashawn Holmes is probable. On the Pelicans side, Frank Jackson is out. Anthony Davis is a dickhead. I don't think we have anything else. I figured that's what the D stood for. Monster pace up spot. Can New Orleans just shut Brow down already? I feel like they did. Probable 3 times and scratched.
What's he listed as today? Doubtful?
Yeah. I'm sure he's going to play.
Right.
I hope he does. I'll get a lot more enjoyment out of him playing with the fucking doubtful tag on him until 6 o'clock tonight. Oh, yeah, that would be really satisfying just to see people melt down. Yeah, that's what I want to happen. We'll start on the Sun side. Rashawn Holmes is 7,700 on FanDuel, 6,200 on DraftKings, $12 on Yahoo. He should be the first piece you put into basically every Yahoo lineup at $12.
He should be the first piece you put in every DraftKings lineup at 62.
Don't disagree. I have him in 70%, but he's somehow 12 is even like miles better than 62. I mean, what's the equivalent? That's like a $3,800 price tag or something, right?
Something like that.
4K. Yeah. And he looks great on FanDuel at 7,700 as well. He's a fantastic option in this game. I mean, this game is the clear star of the DFS day. You're in for Holmes in any sort of amount, correct?
Yeah.
What about Josh Jackson? 5,800 FanDuel, 5,900 DK, $20 on Yahoo.
Yep, lots of Josh Jackson. It never goes well when he's like the guy, but
no, I feel like it only goes bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're at. Lots of Holmes, lots of Josh Jackson. I have a ton of Jamal Crawford on DK. I assume he plays today. Didn't play in the most recent one, but I don't get the sense they're just shutting him down. I have him in for 28 minutes. He's 3,600. No Booker now.
I'm at 21 minutes.
Really? Who were you giving minutes to? A lot of minutes to Melton, I guess?
Yeah, Melton, Nakobo, Jimmer.
I gave Jimmer 22 minutes. Got him quite a bit at 3,200. I gave Okobo 26 minutes. Got a decent amount of him on DraftKings at 3,200. Is there anybody you don't want on this team that you think might get some love? Bridges, probably.
Well, how many minutes do you have Troy Daniels at? Because that's probably where my Crawford minutes went.
20.
Okay, yeah, I'm at 27.
Okay. What do you have Melton at?
20.
Okay, I have Melton at 12. Do you want any of those guys? Are Daniels or Melton in play for you?
Daniels is.
Okay.
Same reasons as Crawford would be.
Okay. Yeah, kind of hard to hash that one out early. I want the guy that we expect to play more minutes out of Crawford and Daniels, basically, would be the answer. And it would be really cool if Jimmer went bonkers today.
Yeah.
On the Pelicans side, 9K Randall on FanDuel, 8,700 on DraftKings. I think that's an easy stay away. I just don't assume he gets enough minutes.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
And like he's somehow a bad play or something. He's just
right. But also he's like more expensive than Aldridge, and he's close enough to guys like Vooch and Gobert that it makes it tough.
I mean, he's more expensive than Christian Wood, and that's not helpful in this specific spot. I like Elfrid Payton. I like Christian Wood. I don't mind Jaleel. A lot of these guys are really low priced on FanDuel. How are you hashing out the Pels?
Who did the Pels play in their last game? And where?
They definitely played.
I know it was on Wednesday.
It was the Hornets. I don't know where it was. The Hornets are the top team, so I can't ever remember anymore. Where's this game at? Game is in Phoenix, so it was in New Orleans.
Yeah. So you said you liked Christian Wood.
Should I not?
He played 20 minutes last game.
Okay. What do you have him projected for today?
Like 24 minutes. 22 minutes.
I gave him 28.
Any particular reason why?
I think he plays 28 minutes. I mean, 3 out of the last 4, it was 27, 28, 32.
Yeah, he was nowhere close to sniffing more minutes.
One game.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't give him 20.
I mean, it's either I give him there or like I make sure that Solomon Hill continues to play 24 minutes or something.
How many minutes do you have Bertans at?
20.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably drop Wood to 26, but I don't want to overreact to just that one game. Was he in any foul trouble or anything?
I don't think so. It looked like a normal rotation. One foul in the first half, 2 fouls in the third quarter, but he didn't come out.
Do you like Okafor?
He was in some foul trouble.
I'll be honest, I don't really know what New Orleans is doing. I mean, we did get Randall to 34 minutes in that most recent one for reasons that I can't begin to understand.
Yeah, I mean, I like Okafor at 4,300 more than I like Wood at 6,500.
So do I. And that was even before I dropped him to 26 minutes. I only have Okafor at 24.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay. What about Clark and Diallo for you?
Clark's okay. I don't think I'll get a lot at 4,600.
They are both 39 on FanDuel, if that matters to you.
Yeah, that's more appealing, obviously. I don't think I get too much of either on DraftKings. I'd rather get Okafor.
Okay.
I'm not nearly as high on the New Orleans guys as I am the Phoenix guys.
Okay. How do you feel about Elfrid Payton 6.5 assists tonight?
Way over.
What if I told you that you only get 85 points for the over?
I'm at 8.8 assists.
Elfrid Payton 6.5 assists, 85 points for the over. I have him at 8.9. This is now my number one prop ahead of Towns.
Yeah.
There's that. 3 games to go. The triple late night hammer. The Denver Nuggets taking on the Portland Trail Blazers. 111.25 implied total for the Nuggets. 104.75 for the Blazers. As far as I know, everybody is in for Denver. And for the Blazers, we know who is out. That is CJ McCollum and Yusuf Nurkic. Nuggets are probably locked into the 2 seed. Rockets can catch them. Blazers are pretty much set up for the 4. They could catch the Rockets in theory. There is some wiggle room, but the most likely scenario is Nuggets 2, Blazers 4. They don't have a ton to play for, but I'm sure they both still want to win. They're just not going to break their backs going after it. Do you have any interest in anything on Denver? I only got a little bit of Jokic, and that's it.
I don't think so. Just because obviously Jokic is really good, but you have all those other centers we've talked about. So
Yeah.
That's pretty much where I'm at. Like Jokic is my top Denver guy, but I have him behind Gobert, Vooch, Towns, Drummond. So it makes it pretty.
I feel the same way. I mean, Murray and GPP he's too cheap on DraftKings for what he can do. But again, we went over this Wednesday. He'll never really grade out all that well.
Plumlee's kind of an interesting power forward play, but at 4,900, it's takes some of the appeal away.
Sure.
It is Portland front court that could play pretty big, though.
Yeah, for sure now. Yeah, it's a really hard spot to get to. Everybody's priced where they should be. And they haven't been playing everybody like crazy stupid minutes or anything like that. They're spreading it out a little bit more, as they should.
Yep.
And I assume that we have the exact same stance on the next one. 9,400 on FanDuel, 9,500 on DraftKings, 45 on Yahoo. Do we both like Dame a lot?
I like him.
Not a lot, though?
Not. Oh, there we go. I had it projected too low. Yeah, now I like it more. I have him at like 51.8 DraftKings points.
Oh, I have him at 53.4. How many minutes do you have him playing? I have him at 37. Yeah, I love Dame. 56% of my lineups on FanDuel, $9,400, $100 cheaper than DK. That's a really nice price tag for a guy that I anticipate doing everything on the team.
Yep.
I don't have anybody else from Portland.
Yeah, Cantor's price tag got up pretty quickly.
Yes, it did. 69.
Nice.
To the Warriors we go. This one had a little bit more zip on it in years past. 120.75 implied total for the Warriors. 104.75 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 16-point underdogs in Golden State. I'm not going to lie. There probably should be more. If we take a look at the Warriors to start. DeMarcus Cousins out. Andre Iguodala out. Sean Livingston, Andrew Bogut, both probable. Are you interested in Curry? I think he is the clear benefactor of the Cousins news. How do you want to manage this against in a pace down spot where they probably don't need to play past the first half?
Right.
They have literally nothing to play for.
Yeah. I have him at well, I mean they're trying to clinch home court before the end of the year so that they can rest, but other than that.
Yeah, but it's Cleveland.
No, I know. I was just saying, Kerr specifically said last night that that's what they have to play for.
Yeah, they are 2 games up on the Nuggets right now with 3 to play.
Yeah, they closed the year with a back-to-back, so they're hoping to have it locked up before then.
Yeah, so a victory here against the Cavs, the key piece of that.
Yeah. So I do at 8,800 for Steph. I have him ahead of Kyrie.
So do I.
Yeah,
it's actually really close. It's tough because I don't know how many minutes Steph Curry plays today.
Right.
I have him slightly behind Kyrie. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I have Kyrie projected for 4 more minutes than Steph.
Yeah, I have Kyrie at 2 more minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I gave Curry, Durant, and Clay, and Draymond all 32 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a projected blowout or anything like that, but they're just it would blow my mind for them to play a lot here. Do you want Durant or Clay or Dre?
Yeah, I mean the points come from somewhere,
Sure.
and being out makes it more clear where they come from.
Yeah, I go Curry, Clay, Durant, Draymond would be my order on DK. On FanDuel, these guys are kind of expensive. Like, I don't have much interest in Durant on FanDuel at all. Clay is 7,500. Draymond's 7,100. Curry is the clear priority for me.
Yeah, Curry just got even higher for me. Like, I looked at his more recent rates without Cousins. Since the All-Star break, he has a 35% usage rate without Cousins on the floor.
That's monstrous. I only have him at 32. I'll get him even more if I bump that slightly. Do you want any of the other Warriors?
You mean beyond Curry and Durant?
Like the non-names?
Oh, no.
Okay. Do you want anything from Cleveland? Just to hit the Cleveland injuries quickly. Kevin Love doubtful, Tristan Thompson doubtful, Delly out, Jaren Blossom game, G League status, whatever that means. I only got some Ante Zizic at 3,600.
Yep, that's where I'm at. Nance and Chetty both are like marginal, like average plays for me, but
same for Jordan Clarkson for me.
Yeah, and actually throw Brandon Knight in that category too.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but Zizic is the one that stands out. It would be a lot more appealing. He would be a top value for me if he were not a center.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he is a center, I still think I get a lot, but probably like half as much as I would otherwise.
Yeah, if he was like a shooting guard, small forward in the exact same scenario, I'd probably have him in 90% of my stuff.
Right, he'd be like my highest owned guy.
Yeah, this is a disgusting, disgusting game. Warriors, Cavs. Cavs defense is the worst, like basically ever. Apparently.
Yeah, but they're still not really that useful for DFS.
Right. Yeah. Apparently they have the worst defensive rating in modern basketball history. Congratulations, guys. Nothing to show for your title. Clippers and Lakers, the final game. 119.75 implied total for the Clips. 100.25 for the Lakers. On the Clippers side, Q tag on Pat Beverly. On the Lakers side, Q tag on Kuzma and Bullock. I have Bullock in. I have Beverly in. I have Kuzma out. pace up spot for the Clippers. Nice matchup. They all sort of grade out very comparably. Gallo, Lou Will, Harrell, SGA, Zubac, Landry Shamet. I don't have any real interest in the Clippers. They're just sort of all there.
Yeah, that's where I am too. It's obviously a really, really, really appealing matchup.
Yeah.
But
I greatly prefer the opposite side of this game.
All right.
You? That sounded like a no to me.
I don't have a ton from either side. Surprising.
No real interest in 7,900 on FanDuel, 68 on DK. JaVale?
He would be my favorite play.
Same.
But I still have him behind Gobert, Vooch, Drummond, Towns, Zizic, Holmes.
Yeah. I don't have much interest in Rondo. How do you feel about Mo Wagner? 3,800 on FanDuel, 41 on DK.
It's nice that he has power forward eligibility on DraftKings. That certainly helps.
Any Lance? Any Reggie Bullock for 3,700 on DraftKings if he's in?
Not a lot.
Okay. Just checking. They grade out well. There are other guys across this entire 13-game slate that are bigger priorities for me. So let's just sum it all up since I think we're done. Favorite plays on DraftKings. Who do you expect to have the most of?
Hang on, let me get to my overall projections.
Okay. I'll read mine off. Ivan Robb, Josh Jackson, Rashawn Holmes, Jamal Crawford, Royce O'Neal, Jimmer Fredette. What league is this? Oh my god, that might be the worst 6 names I've ever read.
Steph, Vooch, Jackson, Towns, Holmes, Gobert, Lillard, Drummond, Wright. Mine sounded a little bit better.
Yeah, I feel like you're just reading off a different list.
Those are my top-ranked DraftKings guys.
Oh, boy. It's a real disgustingly gross slate. 13 games. And I just read off Ivan Robb, Josh Jackson, Jamal Crawford, and Jimmer Fredette as 4 names. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. I kind of want to play more volume now that I know how much better my teams are than yours.
Thanks. I ran a crunch today, and as of right now, I have a lineup that ranks... This is on DraftKings, by the way, that ranks second in my lineup rankings that used $42,800.
Good God. That doesn't seem good.
It's not good. You mean to tell me you don't think you're taking down a GPP with Tyler Dorsey, Jimmer Fredette, Royce O'Neal, Ivan Robb, Jahlil Okafor, Damian Lillard, Josh Jackson, and Rashawn Holmes?
That is a disgusting lineup.
It's awful. It's so awful. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for joining us. That's the biggest one we're going to do. You and I will have, one more on Wednesday of next week, and then that's it for basketball for us. You and I will just be baseball only, thank God.
Yeah, cannot wait.
For no games on Monday. Yay. I'm excited, thank God. Sunday is going to be kind of brutal. There's just games spread out throughout the entire day. That is going to be a bear to try to manage for any sort of real content. I laid out everything that's going on for the rest of the day, so tune into all of our shows. Adam, you got anything else?
Nope. Be back with all of you later.
There you go, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are going to get out of here. Best of luck. Talk to you later.